Can you tell us anything about any of the scenarios that you're going to see in these simulations?
Certainly they're a surprise to me, but understanding the combat environment we're going into, obviously it ranges anywhere from us supporting transiting our folks around the battlefield, which of course was the primary mission of introducing aviation into the theater in the first place, was to get our troops off the road, which we're very successful at doing now. So that from the baseline of transiting troops and materials to forward operating bases, right up to supporting our troops when they become in contact with the enemy, and our aircraft and weapons are utilized to defeat the enemy. Go through contingencies operations that, without the simulation aspect of it, it wouldn't be possible to do in real life, just for the amount of resources. Following this, we will be ready to deploy, and we'll do a little more flying before we go, and then look forward to deploying in the theater.
So the main purpose of exercise control you see behind me is basically to create the environment within which the primary training audience exercises. So we try to create the overall environment for which they can operate within, and we try and provide all the frictions they would have and impress them here in a simulation environment before they go into theater. That's why simulation is so useful. We can replicate things in computers that would be too dangerous to do in the real world, even on a field exercise. So the nice thing about these 2 weeks is they work long days. We replicate the fatigue they're going to experience. We also replicate a lot of the unknowns, or what we call the fog of war. And we especially...
How detailed is the ground? Is it a replication of what they're going to see in Afghanistan?
It's an exact replication based on geodata, so the exact area of operations is replicated. In fact, some of the aircrew, when they've gone to theater and come back, have said that the first couple of flights they did in theater, it was exactly like when they were on the computer. They actually recognized forward operating bases, main supply routes, and some of the features on the ground. So it actually helped them orient themselves in theater within the first week they were there.
The theater is very dynamic, as you know. It changes extremely rapidly, and you have to adapt. So we can go only from the last known information that we have. We freeze it in time, and we work from there. And then we pile on to try to actualize the information. But the bottom line is that it's a training experience that is very close to reality, and from there, we can enable the people getting ready to go out there with what may happen out there. So everything is planned ahead of time, and we have a bunch of staff that are monitoring the scenarios, and we're playing with them to make it as realistic as possible, so that we don't overwhelm the trainees, but at the same time we give them enough challenge to create the fog of war. You know, a lot of friction that you will experiment over there. So what's happening? We've got one mission going with 2 Chinooks flying back on the left. They've done their mission, but supporting these guys, we have gunships. So Griffin weapons team that are armed helicopter to escort them. We have another situation that we have 2 other Griffins that are supporting a convoy on the route, and they just got engaged by insurgents. So now these 2 Griffins are in support of that engagement, trying to identify where the bad guys are and to do what needs to be done.
Or what you've experienced here in the simulations you've been able to make use of in Afghanistan?
Well, certainly I've been to Afghanistan, but not in this capacity. But absolutely, the feedback from previous rotations of the value of this exercise has been extremely positive. Folks will go into theater and fly their first mission, and the accuracy and the detail in our simulation here, they'll say, you know, flying, it wasn't like we were flying our first mission because we saw it all previously on this exercise. So in that regard, it truly does prepare folks. You're not, although you're there for the first time, you've executed a number of missions in the environment, albeit synthetically, but very excellent.